Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of my favourite people. And one of them is a lady who is the star of This Morning. She's the star of Soap Week, which starts next week on ITV. This morning. And of course, she's the lady behind the scripts of many of your favourite soaps. It is the Soap Awards coming soon, and we're going to talk nominations with the wonderful Sharon Marshall. How are you?
That's a wonderful intro. Thank you very much. I'm good. I'm so excited because it's in the middle of award season, which is when we really get to see all the fabulous work that everyone's been doing all year, and quite rightly see people up on that stage being told that they're doing a good job.
You've had an amazing life and career. I mean, always been a journalist, and it's sort of transitioned into this remarkable sort of two-way career. One, writing the scripts, if you like, and then talking about them. It's completely unique, your career, isn't it?
I'm really fortunate. I mean, I did have a 20-year career as a journalist before I got into this. I always loved writing, but what I love now is I always find it was really sort of fascinating to sit down, to talk to people, to talk about their lives. But the thing that I find is a huge privilege and something I find immensely enjoyable but difficult is actually getting involved in writing storylines that if we get it right, if we do it properly, and we hope we do, that we can actually potentially change people's lives and let them look at things in a different way. Perhaps, I know people say it's just a soap, it's just a soap, it's just television. But the thing is, what we hope is that we make people laugh, we make people cry, and maybe through storylines, we can perhaps help people see things in a different way.
When we look at this year on the soaps, I think Coronation Street have got to have the edge in terms of storyline. I don't think I've ever seen as many interviews or column inches as Coronation Street has had in the last 6 weeks. I'm not wrong about that, am I?
Oh, the grooming storyline. This is so brave. This is exactly one of the things I'm talking about, the storyline with Bethany. And I absolutely think Coronation Street is on fire at the moment. They've got a new boss up there, Kate Oates, who was the boss over at Emmerdale, and she just seems to have injected this energy into it. It's not only who shoved Ken, which I'm dying to know. I'm still thinking it might be that dog that shoved him down the stairs. I've got my eyes on that dog. But this grooming storyline with Bethany, I think it's so brave. It's something we're putting out on tea time viewing, but we're seeing this girl being dragged into something, being embroiled into something that if you look in the papers, if you look at the news, is happening, it is out there. And maybe if somebody watches it, if maybe they recognise this is something that might be happening to my daughter, this is something that might be happening to me, if you just stop one person being drawn into that, then that's what soaps do, and that's what soaps do best. But I'm so enjoying it at the moment. I'm absolutely gripped by Corrie.
She's a piece of work, isn't she? I mean, what an actress.
All of them. You know what? It's that Gail Platt family, all of the Platts. And they're all kind of up there. Jack P. Shepherd, I mean, he's been on that show since he was a little dot. Yeah. And he's still up there. He's still up for, I think it's his best actor he's going for. Actually, yeah, he's on the Viewer shortlist, isn't he?
Yeah.
And it's, again, the Barlows, still at the heart of that drama. After all these years, Gavin Barlow, he's been there for how many years? And he can still hold a storyline. He can still go centre stage. And it's one of those things, that's one of the things that I think the soap has over drama, because you've seen these people in your living room for years and years, because you care for them, then when you see them go through this stuff on screen, I think it really does draw you in and grip you like no other drama. And, a million politicians' messages can be out there saying, avoid this, don't do this, but you see it go through with someone that you love and you enjoy watching on screen, then that's when you can get to realise that is what's happening, that's what it's about.
And these guys are such great actors and actresses. I mean, when the phone rings and Alison says, come up and do this one, that one or the other one, we just were up there for the new grandsons of Ken and speaking to them, and whether it's William Roach or whether it's Danny Miller at Emmerdale. I mean, these guys are such talented pros. The speed in which they remember these scripts, but more importantly, forget them and remember the new one, is just extraordinary, isn't it?
Well, I remember being up on the set once at EastEnders, and I was watching the wonderful Ian Beale. He was going through his lines, and it was all at the height of Lucy's death. And Adam Woodyard was on the set, and he was screaming, crying, snot coming out of his nose, and they shouted cut, and then he comes over and he was just talking to me about flats in Streatham. Oh, should he? And then never again, and he's back into it again. And what amazes me is, okay, I mean, I know we're not, they're not surgeons, we're not saving lives on it, but these guys, they do work so hard. The call times are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and they are on it, learning line after line of drama. I was over at Doctor's Set last week, and they've only got 12 cast members in that soap. And if you think about it, they're doing 5 episodes a week. And again, they were doing just scene after scene, absolutely perfect each time, take after take, perfect. One take and out. There's no room for error. And I think people sometimes think, oh, I'll be a soap star, all those parties you can go to, it'll be fabulous. They work so hard.
Yeah, they do. And then, this is the only controversial question I'm going to ask. Can you have too much soap? The amount of script that you guys have to write and the amount of TV they have to churn out is so extraordinary. I mean, they're making more than a film, a cinema film a week in terms of commercial minutes of TV. It is almost ludicrous, isn't it, what the demands are on script writers, on the crew and on the cast?
It is huge, but and you know what? A few years ago, I'd probably say to you, that we shouldn't be over 3 episodes a week. A lot of people, when it started going beyond that, were saying, this is going to ruin it, this is too many. But if you look at Emmerdale, that sort of quietly increased the amount of episodes they'd had. We do a couple of doubles a week. We'll be having 5 episodes, 6 episodes, and actually the quality went up. The awards started coming in as more episodes happened. And I think one of the reasons why is that you, to get the extra screen time, you bring in extra stories, you bring in extra characters, and you have time to let things really grow. And I think Coronation Street will be taking on the extra episode, but I know they are going to be extending the set, more houses, more characters, and somehow everyone just does it. It just works. Maybe you don't want to watch every single episode of everything every single week, but that's the beauty of a soap as well. You can kind of dip in, get in a storyline that you're involved in and you want, and then maybe sort of dip out again. You don't have to watch every single episode of every single soap, unless you happen to be the soap correspondent on a daytime TV show, in which case I'm afraid I do.
How many hours a day do you sit in front of the goggle box?
Do you know what? It sounds quite sad, but I have my life so organised now. What I do is I download all the episodes. So if I'm on the tube or the bus or going to work, I watch it there. I watch it while I'm doing the ironing. I have it's set up when I'm in the kitchen, so the screen can swim around, so I can garden. I can do something at the same time as doing it. Otherwise, I would never ever leave the set, never leave the television set.
Incredible. Let's just very finally go through some of the nominations this year. Best Actor, all the obvious ones. Danny Dyer. Does he stand a chance? Because again, he's brought sexiness back to EastEnders, but he's also brought trouble and headlines this year, hasn't he?
Well, he didn't win the viewer vote, did he? He didn't get through to the shortlist. There's been some huge upsets this year because Bill Roach was up, William Roach was up for the first time, I think it was. The viewers didn't put him through to the shortlist.
Remarkable.
The same with June Brown, the goddess that is June Brown, didn't get through. So as far as the viewers are concerned, let's have a look at who's actually through on the shortlist. You've got Jack P. Shepherd, of course, David Platt, Danny Miller, Aaron, John Middleton, Ashley Thomas, of course, he's done the heartrending storyline about Alzheimer's, and Hollyoaks. Hollyoaks is a real threat this year, real contender. 2 guys in there, Jamie Lomas, who plays Warren Fox, and Gregory, who plays James Nightingale. There's no EastEnders actors through on that viewer voting nomination on the shortlist at all. And over on the Best Actress, you've got Kim Marsh. I mean, she is a tour de force. Michelle Connors had amazing storylines this year in Coronation Street. Lucy Fallon, we were talking about before, Bethany Platt. This grooming storyline she has been terrific.
It's hard to think she won't get it, isn't it? I mean, let's be real.
Well, I don't know, because Lacey Turner. The fans love her.
Yeah,
She
they
has
do.
traditionally won it in the past, and Stacey's up there again. Charlotte Bellamy is up there for Laurel and Emmerdale. We know viewers have taken this Alzheimer's storyline to their hearts. And Sienna Blake, maybe Hollyoaks, maybe the villain of Hollyoaks is going to come in and steal it. I mean, she's already the victim of twincest, and she's carrying the twins of Warren, who's killed somebody. There's all kinds of things going on in Hollyoaks, and they do it all in heels.
Isn't it amazing as well how sexy it's become to be in the soaps these days? I mean, they're rock stars in their own right. I had Catherine Tilsley on a few weeks ago. I mean, not only is she stunning, but hugely talented. They've got their own careers and lives outside the soaps now, which is nice, because back in the day, they didn't let them. We didn't get to know anything about them. And we do like them now. I mean, we get to see them, whether it be on Celeb Juice or bringing out a CD or in Panto. I think it does help sell the brand of soap, doesn't it?
Do you know what? If all the soaps could get together and do a musical on stage, they would absolutely smash it. There are so many.
I want to play Norris.
People in there. You could be Norris. I'd love to see a swap where sort of the characters all went into the other soap one day. They're a talented bunch, and that's why you've seen so many people. You know, it is the joke. You go from Hollyoaks to Hollywood. It's not a joke. Yeah. Lots of people have done it. You see when people come outside the soaps, like Sarah Lancashire, who's just absolutely smashed it at the BAFTAs. People say if you can survive on a soap, you can survive anywhere, because you're bringing excellence to screen, but you are doing it so quickly and you're smashing it every single day. No, they're a massively talented lot. The only thing that worries me slightly over the awards coming up, and it's going to be 3rd of June, and it is live, is that we're not quite sure if we can get them all out of the bar in time.
And you, of course, because the great thing about you is you get to go between them all and sort of live the dream. I mean, you know them all, they all know you. You get to write for them and work with them, and then you get to talk about them on things like Soap Week on This Morning. Are you living the dream? Is this the life you always wanted?
Well, do you know what? I will love the fact that I've got to do all the interviews with them. We've got a Soap Week special on This Morning next week, where each day will be on a specific soap. So we've got all the doctors cast in, Hollyoaks cast in, and then I'm going to go from set to set. That's going to be terrific. But shall I tell you the honest truth? I'm not going to make it to the Soap Awards because I've got 3 scripts to write that weekend, and I don't have time to go and party. So I'm going to let the wonderful Emmerdale cast go up there. Hopefully we'll bring back some trophies, but wow. I'm very much behind the scenes on that job there. And as they are, there's 25 script writers. We're all going to be hard at work writing it because we've got 6 episodes to write that week.
Incredible. And I guess this.
So you'll probably go more than me. You'll be the one that goes and joins the fun bit with the drinks.
Isn't that incredible?
In the back.
And I guess the skill you've got in making those scripts lovable, relatable, and a success is finding a way of talking like normal people do. That's not as easy as it sounds, is it? Making it sound like it's a natural conversation. Is that your skill, Sharon?
Do you know what I do is I read everything out loud, which is slightly perturbing for the neighbours when I'm screaming things. I'm wondering what they're doing. I was thinking, what is going on in that woman's house? I think a lot of it comes from being a journalist, because as a journalist you learn to listen to people. I also used to ghostwrite columns a lot for celebrities, but a lot of it is eavesdropping. I unashamedly, what I do is I sit on a tube and I look for a couple who look like they might be able to have an argument. I go and sit near them and I write it down. And sometimes I just get, I want to sort of go, on, say this. But that's what I do. The skill is, which is quite difficult for somebody who perhaps talks all the time for a living. I think the skill as a writer is listening. And that's one of the wonderful things that I've got at This Morning, is that at This Morning we have the best experts in the business. Some of the storylines that we put in, some of the characters that we put in, have actually come from our lovely Denise Robertson's postbag when she was alive. She, bless her, we used to talk a lot about this is people, this is what would they do? And I talk to Deirdre now, who's one of our experts. We have the best doctors. I go to Dr. Chris all the time. Yeah. What would a person be going through with this? How would they be treated? What would happen? And we have the most wonderful people who are brave enough to come on This Morning and tell their real life stories. And I think sometimes everything's out there, all the storylines are out there, because life is incredible and life is brilliant. And and sometimes you just have to listen to people, listen to their stories, and then try and reflect that on the screen.
Congratulations on everything. Just very finally, I was looking at you and your career. I mean, one of the things that you did, aside from News of the World and being a wonderful journalist, is bringing out novels. And, of course, one of them was with Tara Palmer-Tomkinson. That must have been a terrible shock for you.
Oh, do you know what? It was absolutely heartbreaking. But one of the things that I said, and I said to a family, because we did do a book together. And one of the lovely things that she just made me laugh every day that we wrote that book. We just giggled and we laughed, and I got so many letters because it was like a spoof self-help a spoof self-help guide. But what we were trying to do is say to young girls, you know, if you are going through these problems in life with relationship, with work, or whatever, this is how you pick yourself up. This is how you surround yourself with real love. You know, this is how you sort of get out there and get fighting it. And I still get letters to this day from young girls who sort of read it, and they've said, you know, it made them feel better after a breakup. It made them laugh again. Yeah. And that's all, as a writer, that's all you could ever have hoped for, is that you think, oh, well, I've helped someone. But it was just, I was reading through the book the other day, actually, and it was just making me laugh. I will always remember her as someone who was just the funniest person. It's a tremendous privilege to have been able to sit down and sort of try and distill all that wonderful, wacky advice she gave. It was a pleasure writing the book. God, though, it's just so desperately sad, though. There are special people that come into your life sometimes that you're just lucky to have known.
I did a life story interview with her. She was so charming and so warm, and I don't think most of the public got that about her. She was really a lovely person, and I think the headlines, she was part of that sort of ladette stuff that went on in the press for so long, and we sort of lost her, didn't we, in a way that charm and that wit and that funniness sort of was cast aside, and at least her humour lives on in that book, I guess. That's all we can say.
She was clever, and that's the thing. I mean, she would sort of sit there, and of course she had a classical education, so half the stuff she was telling me I had to go away and Google. But it's all out there. I mean, God, the people, when she did put herself out, and there's a real strength in being that vulnerable to go out into the jungle, as she did, to put herself up on Fame Academy. And it's just, you know, she was completely unique. That whole generation of it girls. I can't tell you quite what she used to call that, but it was a little more...
Did it rhyme with it?
There was a word that she used to put to that. But you know what? It's as I say, it's a privilege to have known people like that, and to be able to work with her. It's just. I just miss her. There's not really much more I can say.
Sharon Marshall, thank you so much for your time. You'll be on this morning, all next week, for Soap Week, and the Soap Awards take place in June. Such a huge year, and congratulations on all your success. I think what you do is remarkable. You're dedicated, hardworking, and amazing at it. Congratulations, and thanks for your time.
Oh, we love you. We'll speak to you all the time. Should I get back on with my script now?
Have a good day. Ta-da.